The self-help industry has spent years selling cards labeled 36 questions to fall in love, claiming these phrases work exactly like a magic love potion. But they completely miss the core of psychologist Arthur Aron's legendary 1997 experiment. The secret wasn't in the specific questions themselves. You could swap half of them out, and the result would remain identical. The magic lay entirely in their precise order. This wasn't a questionnaire. It was a ladder of psychological risk where every single step demanded slightly more vulnerability than the last. Right now, we are going to break down the cold-blooded technology that allows you to artificially engineer a feeling of 100% trust between complete strangers in less than an hour.
During his landmark research, Arthur Aron split the participants into two distinct groups. Both pairs of strangers communicated for exactly 45 minutes in identical rooms. But the first group received a list of questions designed for standard small talk. Which school did you go to? What is your favorite restaurant? The second group walked up Aron's special ladder.
The results absolutely shocked the scientists. The first group barely moved the needle on the interpersonal closeness test. But the participants from the second group, after just 45 minutes with an absolute stranger, stated that they felt closer to them than to many of their lifelong friends and relatives. Identical amount of time, identical speaking speed, yet a completely polarized result. The variable turned out to be the social risk embedded within the words. By asking a deep question, you risk being rejected or ridiculed. It is precisely this risk that triggers the mechanism of mutual self-disclosure, without which any relationship remains dead. To fully understand the mechanics of this psychological hack, we have to turn to fundamental psychology. In 1973, researchers Altman and Dallas Taylor formulated the social penetration theory, proving that human personality is structured exactly like an onion. The outermost layer consists of public facts, your job, your hobbies, or the weather. Slightly deeper sit your genuine opinions, followed by personal experiences, and at the absolute core, your hidden fears.
The golden rule of this theory is the reciprocity of self-disclosure. The layers of the onion can only be peeled away under equal psychological pressure from both sides. If your conversation partner takes a risk and opens up an inner layer to you, and you respond with a cold, "Wow, that's tough. Anyway," the dialogue will instantly collapse. The human psyche realizes its stake didn't pay off, the risk wasn't validated, and it will slam that door shut forever. Closeness is never an accident. It is a strict transaction of mutual trust.
To direct this process, you must accurately visualize the structure of a conversation. Imagine that any human interaction is a 4-story building. Your task is to ascend strictly by the steps without skipping flights. The first floor is facts: what a person's name is, what they do for a living, and where they are from. This is the building's lobby. Absolutely everyone starts here, and there is nothing wrong with this layer until you commit the fatal mistake of moving in permanently. Expecting closeness while asking how is work going for the 100th time is mathematically meaningless.
The second floor is opinions and preferences. Not what do you do for work, but do you actually like what you do? Here, the risk escalates because an opinion can be contested and a taste can be judged. But people absolutely adore this floor because the everyday world drowns them in hollow facts, and nobody ever asks about their actual relationship to things.
The third floor is experience and feelings. Here, you don't introduce brand new topics. Instead, you open the doors to the ones the person has already brought into the room. If they mentioned moving to a new place, ask, what was it like during that first month, completely alone in an unfamiliar city? This forces the individual to reveal the internal flip side of their memories.
The fourth floor is absolute honesty. This is the ultimate level of vulnerability. Hidden fears, things a person is secretly proud of, or their deepest doubts. It is structurally impossible to jump straight up here using a clever question 5 minutes after meeting. The fourth floor unlocks only when the previous 3 floors have been thoroughly traversed in both directions, and the balance of mutual trust entirely clears this psychological credit.
Transitioning to a deep level always triggers a subconscious fear, but there exists an ultimate psychological weapon, a preface phrase that slashes the tax on this step by 90%. It sounds like this. Can I ask you an honest question? 5 simple words, spoken at the exact right time, pull off 4 incredibly powerful tasks.
First, they transform a sudden ambush into a polite invitation, giving the person the illusion of total control. Second, they activate Robert Cialdini's law of consistency. The moment your conversation partner says yes, of course, out loud, their brain assumes a micro-commitment to be open, making it deeply uncomfortable to contradict itself. Third, this phrase instantly injects a dose of curiosity into their bloodstream. What exactly did they notice about me? Saying no after that kind of preview becomes physically impossible. And fourth, you signal that you respect their boundaries and understand the currency of sincerity. You aren't executing an interrogation. You are politely ringing the doorbell before stepping inside.
The ultimate blunder when deploying this tactic is transforming the conversation into a one-sided interview. Psychologists label this the podcaster's trap. You must never simply pelt a person with deep questions, forcing them to confess, while you remain completely in the shadows. This triggers a silent, deep resentment and an immediate urge to defend. Communication is strictly a partner dance. A question, an answer, and your reciprocal step. Did your partner open up a layer of opinions? You are structurally obligated to hand them your own opinion in return without being asked, and only then move forward.
The majority of your superficial relationships remain that way, not because the people around you are dull. This is the hidden cost of your own fear. For dozens of Mondays in a row, you ask your colleagues, "How was your weekend?" Receive a placeholder answer, and go your separate ways. Boring conversations are not a character flaw. They are the price you pay for your unwillingness to take a risk and take that first step onto the ladder. You buy cheap topics and are genuinely surprised why nobody is selling you deep trust.
The brutal truth of life is that you spend years standing outside closed doors waiting for an elevator in a building where the architecture explicitly only features a staircase. Nobody is going to approach you and magically open up first for no reason. The chemistry of relationships doesn't drop from the sky. It is deliberately engineered through conscious social risk.
If this brutal breakdown helped you see the hidden mechanisms of communication, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. There is plenty of cold-blooded psychology coming your way.
And now, a question to absolutely blow up the comments. Which floor of communication is the hardest for you to step onto? Voicing a controversial opinion or admitting your deep fear out loud? Drop your honest answer below and let's start a heavy debate. I will see you in the next episode.